In the middle of the Pacific Ocean, a happy group of orca whales is swimming and jumping through the waves. They are playing together, enjoying the open sea, but their peace doesn't last long. A whaling ship spots them from a distance. The sailors quickly lower a small boat into the water. They spread a huge net and chase one of the young orcas. The other whales try to stay close, but they can't fight the net. Soon, one of the orcas gets trapped. The rest of the group has no choice but to swim away, leaving their friend behind. That captured whale is taken far from the ocean to a marine park in Portland. Months later in Portland, we meet a boy named Jesse. He's an orphan, and life hasn't been easy for him. One day, he and a few other orphan kids try to grab some money from visitors at a museum. After getting a few dollars, they run off and buy a birthday cake to share. It's not much, but it's all they have. Later, the kids hang out at a skate park. They talk about how their parents left them and how they ran away from the orphanage. You can feel their sadness even though they try to act tough. Suddenly, a police car shows up. The kids panic and run in different directions. Jesse and his friend Perry decide to hide inside an old water park warehouse nearby. They think it's the perfect place to avoid the cops. Inside, it's dark and quiet. They start exploring and even spray graffiti on the walls to pass the time. Everything feels calm until Jesse hears a strange noise coming from behind a big glass window. Then lightning flashes across the sky. For a second, the bright light reflects on the glass. Jesse freezes. On the other side, he sees a massive shadow. It looks like some kind of sea monster. Terrified, he runs away. But after a moment, his fear turns into curiosity. He slowly walks back to the window and looks again. And that's when he sees it clearly. It's not a monster. It's a huge orca whale. The same kind of whale that was captured months ago. The whale is swimming alone in a tank, trapped behind thick glass. Jesse is shocked. He's never seen something so big and beautiful up close. The whale moves gently through the water, but there's sadness in its eyes. For the first time, Jesse doesn't feel alone. He sees himself in the whale. Both of them are trapped. Both of them were taken away from their families. But before he can think any more about it, he hears sirens in the distance. He tries to run away, but this time he's not fast enough. The officers catch him. The next morning, Jesse is taken to the child welfare office. A worker named Dwight is clearly fed up with him. He tells Jesse he's tired of his bad behavior and constant trouble. As punishment for the graffiti, Jesse must go back and clean the tank windows at the water park. If he refuses, his case will go to juvenile court. Then Dwight drops another surprise. He tells Jesse that a couple has chosen to adopt him. Their names are Glenn and Annie Greenwood, but Jesse doesn't care. He asks about his real mom. He still hopes she'll come back for him. Dwight tells him the truth. There has been no news about his mother for 6 years. He tells Jesse it's time to move on and give this new family a chance. A few hours later, Dwight takes Jesse to meet Glenn and Annie. They seem kind and patient. They welcome him warmly, but Jesse doesn't make it easy. He stays cold and distant. He doesn't smile. He barely talks. That night after dinner, Glenn and Annie show him his new room. They leave him alone so he can feel comfortable. For the first time in a long while, Jesse has a quiet place to sleep. Later, he takes out his harmonica from his backpack and starts playing softly. It's the only thing that feels familiar to him. The next morning, Glenn tries to do something nice. He gives Jesse a bicycle. Then he drops him off at the water park where Jesse has to start his punishment. When he arrives, he's told to find an employee named Randolph. Jesse finds him at a small house near the sea. Randolph is calm and serious. Without saying much, he takes Jesse to the big tank, the same tank Jesse spray painted. He hands him buckets of water, soap, and a sponge. Jesse knows he can't run this time, so he starts scrubbing. While cleaning, he sees the huge orca again. He can't stop staring at it. Curious, Jesse walks outside to get a better look at the whale from the open pool area. At first, the water is calm. Nothing moves. Then, suddenly, boom! The giant whale jumps out of the water right next to him. Jesse almost falls back in shock. Randolph quickly rushes over and scolds him. He warns Jesse to stay back. He says the orca's name is Willie and he's not friendly. Willie doesn't like people and can be dangerous if disturbed. But instead of being scared away, Jesse becomes even more curious. Days pass and he keeps thinking about Willie. One morning, while finishing the last bit of graffiti, Jesse takes out his harmonica. He starts playing a soft tune near the tank. Something surprising happens. Willie reacts. The whale moves closer to the glass, almost like he's listening. The sound seems to calm him. Jesse notices this and gets an idea. He walks outside and plays the harmonica again, this time right in front of the pool. Willie swims closer. He seems interested, even happy. For the first time, Willie doesn't look angry. A connection starts to grow between them. Soon, they're having fun. Willie even jumps high out of the water and splashes everyone around the tank. Water goes everywhere, even soaking the marine animal trainer, Ray. Everyone laughs, but Ray notices something important. She sees that Jesse and Willie are kind of the same. Both are smart. Both don't trust people. Both feel alone. Because of this, Ray decides to give Jesse a chance. She asks for his help in training Willie. Jesse's first job, learning how to choose the right fish to feed him. It's a small step, but for Jesse, it feels big. Someone is finally trusting him with something important. But that night, Jesse can't sleep. He quietly climbs out of his bedroom window and sneaks back to the park. He stands near the pool and plays his harmonica again. Willie swims closer just like before, but suddenly Jesse hears someone coming. He panics and tries to hide. In the dark, he slips on the wet edge of the pool and falls straight into the water. Jesse doesn't know how to swim well. He struggles and starts sinking. Under the water, Willie sees him going down. But instead of attacking, the giant orca swims toward Jesse. Gently, Willie uses his head and mouth to push the boy up, guiding him back to the side of the tank. Jesse grabs the edge and pulls himself out, coughing but safe. When he looks back at Willie, he realizes something amazing. The whale just saved his life. Slowly, Jesse thanks him. A few minutes later, Randolph arrives. He checks on Jesse to make sure he's okay, but he's shocked. Willie didn't attack the boy. That's something no one expected. Jesse proudly tells him the truth. We're friends. He also says he only came tonight to say goodbye because his graffiti cleaning job is almost finished. Randolph notices how much Jesse cares about Willie, and that gives him an idea. He takes Jesse back home, where Glenn and Annie are extremely worried after finding out he ran away again. Randolph explains everything that happened at the park. Then he makes an offer. He says Jesse can work at the park permanently and help take care of Willie. Jesse doesn't even think twice. He says yes right away. Glenn and Annie agree too, but only if Jesse promises never to run away again. This time, Jesse means it. He promises. The next morning, he happily rides his bike to the park. But as soon as he gets close, he hears something strange. Willie is making loud, sad sounds. It almost feels like he's crying. Jesse runs to the tank and sees something terrible. Willie is trapped in a net again. An examiner is trying to check him. Ray doesn't like it. She says the park isn't the right place for this kind of test. It's making Willie scared and angry. But Wade, the park manager, doesn't care. He just wants the job done. Jesse can't stand watching. Without anyone noticing, he sneaks over and unties the net. Willie quickly swims free and returns to the tank. Jesse smiles, thinking no one saw him, but Randolph did. Instead of getting angry, he congratulates Jesse. He sees that the boy truly cares about Willie. Later, Jesse goes to a fish market at the port to buy a special treat for his friend. There he runs into Perry. Perry tells him he's working for a local criminal now. He even invites Jesse to run away and join him. Jesse says he'll think about it, but deep down, all he wants is to go back to the park and see Willie. When he arrives, he throws a fish into the tank, but Willie doesn't eat it. Instead, the orca swims closer and opens his mouth, almost like he wants Jesse to feed him by hand. Jesse laughs nervously. He agrees, but tells Willie not to bite. Willie listens. Slowly, Jesse places the fish into his mouth and Willie takes it gently. That moment changes everything. Jesse carefully reaches out and touches Willie's head. The giant orca allows it. It's clear now. Willie trusts him more than anyone else at the park. When Jesse says he has to leave, Willie doesn't want him to go. The whale follows him along the tank and even starts copying his arm movements. Jesse lifts his arms. Willie lifts his fins. They play like that for a while, like two kids having fun. Nearby, Randolph watches in amazement. He calls Ray to come see. Ray is stunned. She realizes something important. Willie feels safe with Jesse, something she hasn't been able to do. Later, Ray talks to Jesse privately. She admits that testing Willie without proper tools made him angry with her. Now, the whale doesn't trust her. She also tells Jesse something serious. Willie needs a bigger tank if he's going to live happily at the park. The one he has now is too small. But there's a problem. The park owner, Mr. Dial, doesn't care about the animals. He only cares about money. The only way he'll agree to build a bigger tank is if Willie becomes a huge attraction and brings in more visitors. So Jesse makes a decision. He agrees to help train Willie so the whale can become the star of the park. Training begins right away. Ray teaches Jesse how to guide Willie using a small stick. Every time Willie follows a command or does a trick, he gets a fish as a reward. Simple rule: do a trick, get a fish. Randolph also starts teaching Jesse in his own way. One day, he gives him an old book about the legends of his tribe. In one story, a warrior named Natsalane gets lost at sea. He builds a boat from a tree trunk. The boat looks like a giant beast. When he pushes it into the water and says a prayer from his ancestors, the boat turns into a living creature. And that, the story says, is how orcas were born. The story amazes Jesse. He later shares it with Annie. Slowly, Annie starts winning his heart. He begins to open up to her little by little. As days pass, Jesse and Willie grow even closer. Jesse teaches him new tricks. He brings him fresh fish from the market almost every day. He helps Ray and Randolph during training sessions. But every night when it gets quiet, Willie makes a sad sound, a long, lonely call. It feels like he's calling for someone. Jesse doesn't fully understand it, but he knows Willie is missing something. Still, they don't have time to waste. A big presentation for Mr. Dial is coming up. Jesse works hard with Willie. He teaches him to jump higher, to spin in the water, to move his fins on command. One day, feeling brave, Jesse jumps into the tank. He climbs onto Willie's back. The giant orca gently swims around with him. It's like they're flying through the water together. Afterward, Jesse praises him and even strokes his tongue, something Ray told him is Willie's favorite spot. Their bond is stronger than ever. Later that day, Jesse rides his bike to Glenn's workplace to deliver dinner that Annie prepared. While waiting, he looks around the house and sees family photos. He notices something surprising, a picture of himself placed next to Annie's photo. That touches him. Then he finds an old photo of Glenn with his mother. Glenn explains that she passed away years ago. Hearing that reminds Jesse of his own mother. He still believes she will come back for him one day, but Glenn gently tells him the truth. According to the adoption center, no one has heard from her in years. That hurts Jesse deeply. He gets angry. He feels like Glenn doesn't believe in his mom either, just like Dwight didn't. Upset, Jesse jumps on his bike and rides off into the rain. Glenn and Annie are worried sick. Later, Jesse comes back home. They ask him what's wrong, but he brushes it off and says it doesn't matter because he won't be staying with them long anyway. Glenn starts to wonder out loud if adopting Jesse was the right choice. Annie feels uncomfortable hearing that. Jesse goes to his room and finds a gift they left for him, a brand new baseball. He's about to go thank them when he overhears Glenn say that life used to be simpler when it was just him and Annie. That breaks Jesse's heart. In anger, he throws the baseball through his bedroom window. When Glenn and Annie rush in, Jesse lies and says he got scared because of the argument. Glenn feels guilty. He apologizes for his harsh words and tells Jesse something important. He says Jesse is part of the family now, a real part. Slowly, things calm down. The next morning, as if trying to fix everything, Jesse goes to the market again to buy more fish for Willie. But when he gets back to the park, Perry shows up again. He once more offers Jesse a job with his gang. This time, Jesse doesn't even think about it. He says no. He's done with that life. He just wants to be with Willie. Perry leaves and Jesse goes back to training. Finally, the big day arrives. Mr. Dial, the park owner, sits in the audience watching closely. Jesse stands by the tank and starts guiding Willie through the tricks. Willie swims on his belly. He splashes water on command. He even slides out of the tank and back into the water in seconds. The crowd is amazed. Mr. Dial is impressed too. He decides Willie is worth the money and agrees to build a bigger tank. It feels like a big win. A few days later, the park announces a huge show. Willie will be the star attraction. The tank is packed with people. Every seat is full, but something feels wrong. Willie looks nervous. There's too much noise, too many people shouting and cheering. Ray and Jesse get ready for the performance. Ray blows the whistle. It's time. Jesse gives Willie the signal for the first trick, but Willie doesn't move. Instead, he makes a long, sad sound. Jesse tries again. He knows this show is important. It's Willie's chance for a better life. Still, Willie refuses. He just swims around crying out. The crowd starts getting restless. Some people begin to boo. Jesse feels embarrassed and heartbroken. Then things get worse. Kids at the bottom of the tank bang on the glass. The noise stresses Willie even more. He suddenly charges toward the glass to scare them away. Crack! The glass begins to break. Panic spreads. People scream and run. The park turns into chaos. Meanwhile, Jesse feels like everything is his fault. He storms off, angry at the world. Glenn and Annie try to calm him down, but he won't listen. Dwight also shows up and tries to talk sense into him. Jesse even says he's going to leave and go find his real mother. Dwight finally tells him the hard truth. His mother left him and never came back, but Jesse refuses to believe it. He runs off again. Hours later, alone in his room, he keeps thinking about Willie. Something about the whales crying didn't feel normal. Breaking his promise, Jesse sneaks out again and goes back to the park. When he arrives, he's upset at first. He thinks Willie ruined his own chance. But then he climbs a ladder near the tank and looks beyond the park walls. Out in the open sea, he hears it, more orcas. Willie's family is out there calling for him. That's why he was crying. Jesse's heart sinks. He realizes he can't keep Willie trapped forever. But then he hears voices below. It's the park manager. Jesse hides and watches in shock as the manager and some workers remove damaged parts of the tank. Water starts leaking out fast. They're not fixing it. They're letting it break. Jesse understands what's happening. They want the tank to fail so Willie dies and they can collect a $1 million insurance payout. Horrified, Jesse runs to Randolph's house and tells him everything. Randolph checks the damage and agrees. This was planned. There's no time to repair the tank. There's only one option left. They have to set Willie free. The plan is risky. They'll use a crane and a stretcher to lift Willie out of the tank, place him on a trailer, and take him back to the ocean. Randolph agrees to help. Soon, Ray arrives too. She's scared of what the owner might do if they find out, but she chooses to help anyway. Ray turns on extra pumps to keep water flowing into the tank so Willie can survive a little longer. Randolph starts the crane. Jesse stands by the water and calls out to Willie, "Come on, boy." Slowly, the giant orca swims toward the stretcher. He trusts Jesse, and this time he obeys. But suddenly, the cracked glass of the tank can't handle the pressure anymore. Water starts rushing out faster and faster. There's no time to waste. Jesse jumps straight into the tank. He swims toward Willie and gently guides him onto the stretcher. It's not easy. Willie is huge and the space is tight. After a lot of effort, Willie finally settles into the right position. Jesse quickly ties the ropes in place. Randolph lifts the crane. Slowly, carefully, Willie rises out of the tank. But they're not done yet. Now they have to get him to the ocean. Jesse rushes to Randolph's house and grabs his dad's truck. They use the crane to place Willie onto a trailer and attach it to the truck. Then they start driving through the forest toward the sea. Halfway there, they hit a problem. A big log blocks the road. They try to reverse, but the truck is too heavy. The wheels sink into the dirt and get stuck. They're trapped. Jesse knows they need help. He grabs the communicator inside Glenn's truck and calls out for his adoptive parents. Luckily, Glenn and Annie were already searching for him. They even contacted the police. Through the sheriff's radio, they hear Jesse's voice. They rush to the location. When they arrive, Jesse begs them to help save Willie. Even knowing the risks, Glenn agrees. He tells Randolph to hook a chain to the bumper so they can pull the truck free. That moment changes everything for Jesse. For the first time, he sees Glenn not just as a guardian, but as a real father. He runs up and hugs him. Together, they manage to free the truck and continue toward the sea. But Willie is getting weaker. His skin is drying out and dawn is coming. Glenn suggests stopping at a car wash. There, they use the hoses to spray water over Willie's body, keeping him wet enough to survive the rest of the trip. Finally, they reach the port entrance. But just as they're about to cross, Mr. Dial and his men block the road. He doesn't want to lose his $1 million insurance money. Glenn doesn't stop. He drives straight at them. The men jump aside at the last second. Then Glenn backs the truck into the water. The trailer lowers and Willie slides into the sea. He's free, but he's exhausted from the long trip. Dial's men try to fight back, but Ray, Randolph, and Glenn hold them off. In the water, Jesse calls out to Willie, encouraging him. Slowly, Willie regains his strength and starts swimming away. But then another danger appears. Two whaling boats move into position and drop nets into the water. Jesse's heart races. Willie can't swim through those nets. Thinking fast, Jesse runs along the shore and climbs onto a pile of rocks. He waves his arms, calling Willie toward him. Willie changes direction and follows Jesse. Now there's only one way out. A giant rock barrier stands between Willie and the open ocean. Jesse knows this is it. He teaches Willie one final trick, a huge jump. Standing on the rocks, Jesse moves his arms and softly repeats the ancient prayer Randolph once told him about. Willie backs up in the water. Then with all his strength, he leaps. The giant orca flies over the rocks in one massive jump and crashes into the open sea on the other side. He's home. In the distance, other orcas swim toward him. Willie is finally back with his family. Jesse stands there, heartbroken but proud. Saying goodbye hurts, but he knew this was the right thing to do. He didn't just save a whale, he saved his best friend. And sometimes loving someone means letting them go.